ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is first 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah.
What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of First 12 Ounces. College football is getting close to the end. We're down to the Final Four, so we're going to touch on these games and see where they go. We'll lead off with Bo's Irish. Notre Dame, number 5 Notre Dame versus number 4 Penn State. Should be an interesting one. The spread is Penn State +2. Bo, how's your confidence level going into this game?
So just from watching Penn State, like the couple times I have this year, I think one thing that's going to help us out is I know everyone was saying, and Shoney's even touched on it, that you can run on Penn State. So, I mean, with the backfield we have, I don't think we're going to have too many issues. They do collapse on the ball really well. They fill the gaps, I mean, pretty efficiently from watching them play against Boise State. But again, I wouldn't say Boise State's a top-tier program. I know where they ranked in the playoffs this year, but I think I don't even want to say our talent at O-line, but I mean, how well our O-line's played this year for being pretty much like first start guys from the start of the year till now. We've looked great. I think Penn State makes a ton of their turnovers and a lot of their offensive positioning, picking off passes and making the play on the pass, which unfortunately for them, Riley Leonard does not like to throw the football. He would much rather run the motherfucker 50 yards than sit there and try to throw it. So the only thing I personally am worried about is if he does try to make a bonehead throw, which we've seen in the past, and then we're going to struggle the rest of the game unless we can then in turn make another play on defense. So as long as our defense comes out, plays well, and we control the clock just like we did against Georgia, I don't think we're going to have any issues. And as long as we don't have another slow punt return or kick return for a touchdown, whatever. But my confidence is pretty high. I'm just curious to see who we're going to be getting in the championship. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I looked it up right before we got on, just to kind of compare the two. Notre Dame's rushing game is better than Penn State's and looked pretty obvious in the Georgia game as well. They look super strong. Their pass defense is the better out of the two as well. But Penn State's passing yards and passing defense. I got that wrong. Both of their passing defenses are even, so that's gonna kind of be the equalizer. I don't think Riley's gonna be throwing the ball much as like you said as well. I think they're gonna lean on Love in that running game. We'll see how it plays out, and then Riley's probably gonna run the ball some too. How do y'all feel about it, guys?
I think the game's going to come down to whether or not Riley can throw the ball. How many big-time plays can he make with his arm? So Penn State does give up a little bit of the run, but it's mostly to backs. I think they've only given up like 130 yards rushing to quarterbacks this year. I think the number's really low that they've given up. So I think they can pretty much, in terms of Riley Leonard, make him have to throw the ball. Now, with the run game, I don't know. I do think this, Notre Dame did not look great offensively against Georgia. Georgia played them really good, right? I don't know. That's not a high-powered offense by any stretch. It's a really talented team. It's a really hard-nosed team. The O-line's going to play hard. Marcus Freeman's going to have them ready to go. I think it's a really good game. But I think it's going to come down to whether or not Riley Leonard can make plays with the ball in his hand. Can he throw guys open? Can he make the big-time throw on 3rd and 7? I think that's what's going to dictate the game. Also it falls on, can James Franklin not lay down in a big moment? Is this James Franklin's logo game? Is this the one he looks at? It's the first logo on the other side of the field that he realistically has to look at and be like, they're on the same level as us. And historically, he's been pathetic against logos.
Yeah, I don't have a pick yet for this game, but one pick I do have, I actually do like the over 45.5 a lot in this game. I think there's going to be more points scored than some may think. There's a few reasons for that. What you guys have touched on, I think Notre Dame will have a lot of explosives in the run game. Their running game is really good between Riley Leonard and Love, and their offensive line's always good and pushes people around. That I think will open up some explosives, timely ones in the pass game. But on the other side, the injuries on that Notre Dame defense is the reason that I haven't already picked Notre Dame in this game and I'm kind of caught in between right now. 29, the guy that's just burnt toast that USC got after, Georgia was attacking him. I think Penn State will be able to exploit him more so than Georgia did if they continue to get him in one-on-one situations the way other teams have been able to do so. And therefore, I think the way that Drew Aller's playing and stuff, they'll be able to score some points as well. But the winner of this game and the winner of the other game and the winner of the national championship, it comes down in this point of the season of who wins the clutch moment, who plays the most complimentary football, who gets the right bounces, things of that nature. And so it could be a quarterback battle at the end of the day. Does Drew Aller outshine Riley Leonard? Does Riley Leonard take care of the football, make the plays that need to be made, and win the game? I do think it'll be a close one, but I like the over 45.5. I think there's going to be more points scored in this game than some may think.
Is 29 Jordan Clark? Is that Ryan Clark's son?
Let me check.
T29?
I don't think that's the kid's name. I don't think.
I mean, he's bad.
He's
Yeah, I mean
he's very
that was the thing
he's
on
very
Jordan
bad.
Clark coming out. That was the thing on I don't know if it's Jordan Clark. I know Jordan Clark coming out of high school, Ryan threw a fit because LSU didn't offer him, but it was like, dude, he's not an SEC player.
Like
I don't know
Kirk.
if that's him though, but like
I have it for you just a second. I'm pulling it up. Let's see.
Another thing, draft stock
29?
QB class.
Yeah,
29,
Guys
29.
like
Kristen Gray.
Yeah.
well then it's not Jordan Clark.
yeah, Christian Gray, that's his name. Burnt toast. I mean, you could really attack him, and I think he will get attacked in this game, then especially next week. But nonetheless, I do think it could come down to just the quarterback that plays the cleanest and the quarterback that plays the clutchest in this game. Drew Aller has a chance. I know he's already announced he's coming back. I don't really know that that's going to be the case. If he wins this game and has an impressive game and then does all right in the national championship, he's a guy. Tall, white, big arm. NFL scouts are going to love it. They're going to fall in love. He can the first round because this is a bad QB class.
Let's be realistic. If Aller has a good game and like goes for like 275, 300, a couple tuds, and like looks the part, he could declare and realistically sneak in to be in the first one off the board.
Yeah, no, 100.
Like he's like he could sneak into a top 10 pick if he looks good.
Say right now, forever, and look, the proof is in the pudding. I'm not saying it's a bad strategy, but NFL GMs love really big, strong arm white quarterback.
Yeah, and he's mobile. He's mobile enough to where it's a part of his game that he can use.
Yeah.
I think a keep is. I mean, they're gonna have another thing Notre Dame's gonna have to look out for is that tight end. The tight dude he is a freak of nature. He does it all. So I'm interested to see how they maintain him. But they do, like I said, both of their pass defenses are equal. They have great pass defenses. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't see, like Bo said, I don't see Riley Leonard throwing the ball much, but we'll see how it plays out.
Well, I guess my other question is, and Shoney, I know you've kind of watched him a little bit this year. I guess outside of the tight end, I mean, I know they have a good run. Like I know they have decent running backs, but other than those two guys and the tight end, who else do they have at receiver? That I mean, even's like a big playmaker for them, I guess.
Georgia's receiving core. I think they got some guys that can get behind you. They can beat you. I don't think there's a receiver on their team that is just giving anybody nightmares. And that might be all saving grace like it was with Georgia. Like they might be able to attack it a little bit. But if they're not getting it in the end zone when they do attack him, then y'all are able to recover and shrink the field. Then you guys can keep them out of the end zone, and then Notre Dame will win the game. And that's kind of going to be both games. I know it sounds kind of silly saying it out loud, but who scores touchdowns, who's kicking field goals, things like that. Like that's a big factor here, and that might ultimately, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, that might make me lean Notre Dame.
I mean, I think one thing also to think about though is like that's also not Penn State's MO. Like that's not how they're calling offense.
Right.
Where like I think that's one of the reasons Georgia, struggled at times this year. Like Georgia wants to spread the ball around because they had a big time quarterback all year and they just didn't have playmakers around him. Where I
Yeah.
think Penn State's different. Like they kind of know what they've got, and I think it could be a factor. I just don't know because they're like they know what their offense is. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna try to get Warren the ball a ton. What's it? Singleton's the running back.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna try to. It's a true pro style offense. Like that's like they're gonna run long drives and try to just score that way. Like they're not gonna try to be explosive.
Yeah,
Yeah. Averaging 5 yards a carry. They're gonna score when they get in the red zone doing that for one, and then two, it's just they're able to bleed the clock. They'll be able to get stops. They're really good. Number one defense, I think, in America right now. Either them or Ohio State. Texas fell to 3 after that last week's game, but the top 3 defenses are Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Texas left in the thing. So it's 1, 2, and 3.
yeah. Penn State's they're kind of a run heavy and then check down, and the reason that is they have 2 running backs with over 1,000 yards this year. Then their receiver, their leading receiver is Tyler Warren at tight end with over 1,000, and then it goes to Harris with 700, and then obviously they check down to their running back because the next leading receiver for him is their running back Singleton. So it's a lot. It's got to be a lot of check downs and secondary reads. He's not really going deep to anyone when you look at it on paper. But like I said, when you have 2 run that go for over 1,000 yards, that's going to be your mo. You're going to run the ball and then throw off of that, throw off of your run. It's pretty much what they've done all year. Should be a good matchup, a really good matchup.
Good defensively.
Yeah, hopefully it's a good one. We'll see. It comes up second to Friday night's game, which is going to be a fun one. And I know we're going to get into it. We'll probably spend a good bit of time on this one, and that's Texas OSU. We all know where the route me and Shawnee are leaning. So we'll start with Bo, and then we'll go with Buddha and see how y'all feel about it.
This game for me, this one's tough. I mean, I saw the way Texas played ASU, and they had one guy. It's all Scattaboo. I know up until about like the third or fourth quarter, Texas was gassed. They were playing defense pretty much the whole game. My only issue is you can't be giving up those big runs like they did against Scattaboo with Judkins or Henderson. I mean, you can't be doing that. And then on top of that, okay, so you give up big runs to them, then guess what? They're going to attack you through the air. And I know y'all have one of the best secondaries in the nation, if not the best, right? But with the way Smith's been playing, and okay, you double him. Well, guess what? You still got Ibuka. Ibuka's, should be, or I mean, if not an All-American in his own right. Like, I mean, this offense that's been playing for Ohio State after they got beat by Michigan, they've just been coming in just, I mean, belts to ass on people. So I'm curious to see how y'all tackle it. Um, I think I really think Sark's probably going to have to get in his bag in this game. Um, I mean, to kind of go back to Marcus Freeman, but maybe throw out a couple sets maybe they're not expecting, and get you guys like maybe those crucial first downs you guys are going to need. Because I mean, this game's going to be a dogfight. I hope. I think it's going to be a really good football game, regardless. But I mean, it's going to be tough. It's probably going to be your guys' toughest bet this year, obviously. But I don't know. I'm incredibly torn because I mean I've seen what Ohio State's done the last 2 weeks, but also I like we've talked all year on the podcast. I mean Texas can only beat Texas, so as long as they're not shooting themselves in the foot, I think you guys have just as much a dog in the fight, and I mean should be able to beat Ohio State and finally send that fucking rat home. So that doesn't indicate my pick by any stretch of the imagination. I've still got to look over it, but I just fucking can't stand Ryan Day. So there's that. Buddha on to you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not making a pick today because I'm not sure. I've been on the deal that Texas is everyone's biggest threat, including themselves. I do think if there's any roster in college football that mans up, hat on hat with Texas, it's this Ohio State roster. I mean, they are loaded on both sides of the ball. I think the thing that impressed me the most about Ohio State's last performance against Oregon was the defense thumping dudes. I mean, they were hitting hard. I mean, they brought the wood early in that game. That was impressive to see. Again, though, I mean, this game is like everyone's talking about how talented Ohio State is. They got all the big names. They got all the first round guys that everybody's talking about. They got the Caleb Downs, the Jeremiah Smiths, they got all these names. I think Texas is equally as talented. The thing that concerns me with Texas is the frequency in which they've made head scratching mistakes in moments where you can't have them, in games where you can't have them. And we've yet to see a game in which they don't do that. I do think there's something about, like, there is no Scatabo on this team. But, like, Arizona State in the same breath didn't have Jeremiah Smith or Emeka Ibuka or Travion Henderson or Quishon Judkins. Like, they didn't roll out 4 or 5 guys that are going to be NFL players. I don't know. This game, I think people go, like, Sark's got to get in his bag. Like, I don't know. I kind of differ from that statement. I think the way Texas ends up winning this game, if like, Texas wins, it's going to be Texas is going to have to play cleaner football than they've played in big games, and they're going to have to just prove that they're hat on hat just as good or better than the other team across from them, because Ohio State's going to bring it. They're going to be ready to play. You know, they just played the number 1 team in the nation, and they looked every bit as they were significantly better. I think if Ohio State's going to win, you know, they've got to bring the intensity that they brought last week, right? Like, I think whatever team brings the intensity and plays clean wins the football game. I think it's an awesome game. I think the final score may not dictate how great of a game it is. I think this is a game that at the end could be a 10-point differential, but I think it's a game that is back and forth, really fun to watch. Again, thank God we don't have to make a pick right now, because I truly don't know. Sometimes I lean Ohio State, sometimes I lean Texas, and I don't know. I keep going back and forth. I'm really excited to watch it. I wish the weather wasn't so horrible, so it'd be easier to get out there and go catch the environment. But I don't know. Right now, I don't know. My concern with, like, right now, I think if you made me pick right now, I think I'd lean Ohio State. But my concern with that is I think they might be the media darling right now. I think they might be the team that's the shiny new car, and you're forgetting that Texas has the same dudes on the team as them. Like, it's the same. I think the only spot you would give, I think it's similar to, like, the only spot you give the elevation to truly to Ohio State is probably running back, and everywhere else it's pretty damn even. Like, even safety play, right? And I've been talking about Texas all year. Like, Caleb Downs is a stud. Like, he might be the best, like, actual safety in the country. Like, he's gonna be a 10-year, 15-year NFL vet. Like, he's a stud. But I don't know. I'll let y'all get into it. I'm sure y'all got a lot to say, but that's kind of where I'm at on it. Is, like, can Texas play clean? Can they finally not shoot themselves in the foot?
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of agree with that too. Texas does have to play a clean game. They really haven't played a full clean game all year outside of maybe Michigan and Florida. Outside of that, and maybe OU you would call clean games. Outside of that, everything's kind of just been dirty. They playing, whether you call it, playing down to their competition or just making mistakes that you don't need to make. But the thing that I think helps them in that scenario is they've been in those, hey, you got to do something to win scenarios, and they made it and they won. So I give them the edge on that. If it's close and pressure's on somebody, can Texas answer? Texas has answered quite a few times to do it. So I lean for them on that. The other thing that I have an upper hand on is Will Howard. Will Howard's getting all this love, but it's not Will Howard just really doing it. It's more or less the pieces around him. To me, Will Howard's still the kid from Kansas State. And I've been saying, I said it on the live. It's a completely different team that he's with. He's surrounded by different athletes, which is going to be, a completely different game. But to me, it's still Will Howard at the end of the day. And Will Howard, when the pressure puts on him, he makes mistakes. He made them this year against Oregon. When the pressure was on him, he made mistakes. He couldn't handle the pressure when Michigan kept putting pressure on him. This is going to be the best defense they've played all year. Same thing for Texas. This is going to be the best defense Texas has played all year. So we'll see how it comes out. I'll let you go ahead and go now, Shawnee.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on the game. Obviously, I'll try to condense it down for the podcast purposes. I'll probably make different videos throughout the week. First and foremost, I love Texas as an underdog. I love Texas in a situation. The national narrative, Texas is being completely disregarded. I think that conventional wisdom says Ohio State should be favored in this game. And I would say that conventional wisdom says that most people, from the recency bias, which is king in college football always, and it always bites people in the ass, quite frankly, tells you Ohio State should win the game, play cleaner game, right? And yet, I think on paper, this is one of the most even matchups, if not the most even matchup we've seen all year long. I got some stats here. Total offense, Texas ranks 17th. Ohio State ranks 27th. That doesn't really fit the narrative that everybody's talking about offensively coming into this game. Rushing offense, like Buddha said, Ohio State has an advantage. They're 52nd and Texas is 63rd. But Ohio State's not a world beater compared to the rushing defense they're about to play. Passing offense, Texas is 15th. Ohio State's 29th in total passing offense. Total defense, Texas was number one all the way up to last week. They've dropped to third. Ohio State has jumped up to number one. Rushing defense, Texas is 13th. Ohio State is fifth. Passing defense, Texas is third. Ohio State is first. So, like I said, the first game, I thought there would be more points scored. I love the under in this game. I think that there's a lot of people on the Ohio State bandwagon because what they've done the last 2 weeks. Oregon gave up like 34 points to Boise State. They gave up 37 to Penn State. Davis Warren had his best game passing wise against Oregon this year. They weren't in a world beating defense by stretch of the imagination. Arkansas, Taylor Green had 266 passing yards against Tennessee. They had a receiver with 9 receptions, 132 yards. Carson Beck had 377 passing yards against Tennessee. They weren't the world beaters they thought they were. I remember a time when Oklahoma thought Michael Hawkins was going to be competing for the Heisman because of the way he looked against Tennessee in the second half. So I think some of the recency bias and some of this Ohio State dominance, I saw Josh Pate calling it the buzzsaw theory, and he compared this Ohio State team to 2019 LSU. That's cockamamie. That is cockamamie. Joe Burrow's not coming out of that tunnel, and I would say that 2019 LSU team, the best team that they played, and probably the second best team in the country that year was that Alabama team. That ended up being a close game. Bama kind of made a push at the end to make it close, but still, they were dropping 37, 40 points, 50 points on everybody all year long on like 7 top 10 teams or 7 top 25 teams, whatever it was. The numbers are insane. That is insane. And historically speaking, I think when a team like Texas that has 40 plus NFL players on its roster, just like Ohio State, is completely disregarded in this manner. Takes me back to the first Texas Georgia game this year when everybody took Texas. Nobody was giving Georgia a shot, and they came out like a buzzsaw, pissed off in that game, flying around. I think you're going to get a really pissed off Texas team. And I'll go into my last point. I think the Longhorns are maybe the only team in America, if not one of few. Georgia might have been able to do it. Notre Dame might be able to do it as well. That can deploy the exact same game plan Michigan has deployed for 4 years. They have run cover six on Ohio State for 4 years, which takes away the vertical threat. And this is a vertical passing offense. That's what they want to do. They want to throw the ball down the field and torch your ass. Well, you're able to bracket receivers when you run cover six, but the thing is, you have a 6-man front. So most teams can't do that to Ohio State because they're going to run the ball down your throat on a 6-man front. Well, Texas has 4 defensive linemen going to the NFL. Their best pass rusher, which might be the best pass rusher in the country, Colin Simmons is a true freshman. The 2 interior guys are really good and can dominate that center that's a backup center the way that Mason Graham dominated him and Kenneth Grant dominated him. Texas can do the same thing. Caleb Downs was mentioned earlier. I think he's going to be a top 5, top 3 pick. Another guy that I think is going to be a top 5, top 3 pick when it's his time to go is Anthony Hill Jr. And then in the secondary, in the zone coverage, if we're able to stay heavy zone and deploy pressures at timely times and different just to keep them off balance, I think with an All-American safety, a Thorpe Award winner, another potential first-round safety in Makuba, and then the guy that everybody's talking about, Muhammad, who kind of got attacked against Clemson, and then Arizona State attempted to go after him as much as they could. Marginal success, not as much as people are putting out there. Malik Muhammad's a really good football player. He's not a joke. He's had a couple of weeks where he's probably frustrated, but I wouldn't compare this to like a kicker with the yips. I think he is an elite prospect that'll potentially be a first or second round draft pick when he goes, that can turn this thing around and come in really motivated. By the way, he's from Dallas. Anthony Hill Jr. is from Dallas. Half the roster's from Dallas. Quinn Ewers is from Dallas. This is a homecoming for a lot of players on the roster. It's going to basically be a home game for Texas. I think the key will be offensively, obviously, playing complementary football, which means don't turn it over, don't lose the turnover battle. The winner might be the winner of the turnover battle, but you're going to have to find success in the running game. It's probably not going to come in outside zone, which is Sark's bread and butter. Ohio State's really good at stopping that. They have two really good defensive ends in JT, whatever his last name is, and Jack Sawyer. But where Michigan's got them is in some gap schemes, running more power stuff, but also putting window dressing on their run looks. Their linebackers are freakishly athletic at Ohio State, but they got bad eyes. You can kind of get them stuck in the mud in the passing game and in the running game if you're using a lot of motion and a lot of window dressing, which Sark is a master of doing. If you find success in the running game, you're going to find success in the passing game. One other thing Ohio State does, they bring a lot of blitzes, which puts their corners in man coverage. We will beat their corners in man coverage and get pass interferences and beat them down the field. Now, Quinn, where he is challenged a lot, is the deep throws. In the biggest games that Quinn has won, in Tuscaloosa and Ann Arbor, the common opponent with Ohio State this year. I'm massive on common opponents. That's our only one. He hit the throws down the field, dropped the balls in the bucket. He needs to do that, or at least put it in a place where we'll get pass interferences. Texas plays clean. I think Texas wins this game. I'm leaning towards a prediction of 20 to 23, or 20 or 23 points for Texas, 13 Ohio State. I think Texas keeps Ohio State out of the end zone in this game, and that's the difference. I think it's low scoring. The two, I think the defenses present a lot of challenges for both offenses. I think both defenses can get pressure. The quarterbacks that respond best and make the biggest plays, maybe in both games. That's what we're looking at. College football is a quarterback game. So it's like the quarterback that has the biggest nut sack on Thursday night and Friday night, I think, comes away with this game. And I'm going to go with Quinn Ewers over Will Howard.
Dude, here's one thing I want to touch on. Can we stop comparing teams to 2019 LSU? Like, can we stop doing it? It's every fucking year a team has one or two good offensive showings, and they immediately go, this is like 2019 LSU. It's not like 2019 LSU. 2019 LSU beat the fuck out of every team they played. Every team they played, they beat the shit out of. But outside of an Auburn game where it was piss and rain because there was a tropical storm, they still handled that game pretty easily. In an Alabama game that got tight at the end that was 33-13 at half. Like, these teams are not even in the same ballpark as 2019 LSU. Like, that drives me nuts.
Points and in a national semifinal at halftime.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that 2019 LSU team is one of the top two teams to ever play the sport. Like, and there's not Ohio State's not in that, even in that breath.
In my eyes, as we stand today, they had the best quarterback in the NFL, the best two receivers in the NFL. Like they
You also got to remember they had Derek Stingley at corner, Patrick Queen at linebacker, Grant Delpit at safety, Caleb on Chesson at defensive end. Four of the O linemen are starting in the NFL. Terrace Marshall's on an NFL roster. Clyde Edwards-Helaire just had 12 carries for the Saints yesterday. Like, that LSU team literally had like 25 or 26 guys who are like NFL starters at some point on it.
Here's my thing that I've been laughing about. And I can't stop laughing about it. I brought it up on the live. The narrative of Ohio State changed so quick after two games. They went from, oh, nobody's going to worry about them in the playoffs to, oh, they're unstoppable. They're unbelievable. Everyone forgets what Michigan did to them. Everyone forgets that they struggled with Nebraska earlier in the year.
Yeah, they back-to-back weeks against Nebraska and Penn State. Will Howard sucked.
But
sucked. So it's like not like a one and done that he struggled. You know what I mean? Like he struggled against pretty much every good secondary that he played or any defensive front that could apply a lot of pressure. He struggles and he throws the ball away. If you take the vertical passing game away, unlike Quinn Ewers in the intermediate, he'll throw it and the ball will go back to the house the other way. I'm not saying that can't win in this game. By far the best defense we've played. By far the best secondary we've played. But it goes both ways here, and the narrative is discussed as it's one way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it benefits Texas because I would rather be the disrespected because you can't control that. It's not like Ohio State thinks that of Texas. I promise their coaches are saying, look, this is the best team you've played. You're going to have to do this. They're doing all of that. But they can't control the national narrative that gives the extra
Yeah.
motivation to
What is
Texas.
Nick Saban? What's his famous saying? Don't take the rat poison. And guess what? They are dishing out rat
Right.
poison to Ohio
But
State like no tomorrow. To them, they're nobody can stop them.
I think one thing for people watching,
college football.
one thing for people watching, like just remember the media is not that smart.
Right.
Like, for instance, we talked about 2019 LSU. 2019 LSU was ranked number 1 for like 2 regular season weeks that year. Like that, like when we talk about like what the smart people in college football think about, they had that LSU team ranked like 2nd or 3rd almost the whole year. Like they're not that great at what they do. They do kind of pick teams and go like, you're just on this pedestal. Ohio State is often one of those teams. Ohio State's like, they're kind of like A&M in the fact of like they continuously get put on a pedestal as if they are like a dynasty. Although realistically, they haven't won a lot. Like they've won a ton of regular season games and made playoffs and made titles. They've won a couple, so they're different than A&M in that way. But it's a similar method where the media just kind of goes like, "Oh, they're good. They're better than everyone immediately." Like this is like, and again, I do think Ohio State is loaded, right? And I don't think anybody on here would disagree with like that's a loaded roster. I think the difference is like Texas is also a loaded roster. Like both rosters are like. Here's what sucks in reality. These are probably the 2 best teams left in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I genuinely like the seeding should have been fixed to where this could have been a national championship game. Like these are probably the 2 best teams left. We're just getting a semi, not in a national title. Because really, like I want Notre Dame to win the other one. Because worst case scenario would be because like either one of these teams play Penn State because they'll just boat race them. They'll just beat them.
And brand wise, like Notre Dame versus Texas or Ohio State national championship is really fucking massive. But Ohio State is the Eagles of college football. They're the Philadelphia Eagles of college football. They're the media darling, but they like you said, everything you said nails it on the head. I said this, I'm not going to get into it, and I definitely don't want to gas up Ole Miss fans because they're so annoying. But I was Ole Miss over Tennessee and Bama coming in. I don't think Tennessee should have been in the fucking playoffs. I think they beat Alabama, and everybody wanted to make Bama out to be a national title contender. And so they got in off of that, out of all the teams that were kind of left over. And I don't think they belonged at all. Like, they lost to Arkansas.
Bo, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Oh, I mean, just touching on the implications that Ohio State and Notre Dame were in that national championship. That would be a revenge game for Marcus Freeman since they beat us with 3 seconds left on the clock last year when they beat us 17-14. So that would be a revenge game for him. But like I said, I'm cool with whoever. I mean, whatever happens. Obviously, this is like my first full year actually like covering college football, so I'm just fucking happy to be here, and we're in a fucking semifinal game, so I'm cool with whatever. But
how about this? Earlier in the season, Bo said it. Bo said, "Hey man, we're on a roll now. Hopefully, we went out and play Texas in the national championship." Hey, we're 2 games away from that possibly happening. How crazy is that? And I think all of us were like, "Yeah, that's never gonna happen." And now we're like, "Uh oh, we're right there to a possibility."
I know. I also like one last thing I want to say on that little fucking weasel Ryan Day and just this whole narrative. I'm not saying that the shit that's being said about Texas isn't fair. I'm not saying that 3rd quarter Texas or any of this isn't real and shouldn't be looked at and discussed. But nobody talks about how every time one of this Weasel's teams gets punched in the face, they fold. When you punch Ohio State, they fold. And that's what's happened for 4 straight years against Michigan. And I want to see how they respond when Texas comes out and punches them in the face. Ohio State is used to pushing people around. And when they can't just push you around and you're just as big and just as fast as them, he crumbles. And how about all the times he's melted down in critical moments of games and just had terrible coaching blunders? I was watching the Michigan game today. They had a 12-man on the field on defense after calling a timeout on like a 3rd and 2 on the 7 at the end of the game. And he just looked completely dumbfounded, just like he did after the game when there was a war going on the field and he was doing nothing about it.
He literally out loud went, "What's going on?" As
Yeah,
dudes were getting pepper sprayed behind him. He goes, "What's going on?"
yeah. If anything you could say about this Texas team is they probably experienced the most, like, every moment you can experience. They've dominated teams. They've been in close games. They've blown leads. They've been in overtime and lost. They've been in overtime and won. They've been everywhere. So not only can they rock your ass and knock you out early, but Texas has shown that they can get dropped, put on the canvas, come back and win. I don't know. Something to think
Absolutely.
of.
For the record, Shawnee was watching film today. He sent us some videos. I don't know what the hell my man is watching film on. It looked like I was looking through the bottom of a Coke bottle,
It was
trying to look at that screen.
the sun was shining on my projector.
I mean, I know y'all like. Just try to picture in your head like somebody going like, "Look at this film," and it's just a gray screen. You're just like, "Yeah, I think I can see a sliver of a human."
Yeah, I'd be able to see it better. No, I don't want Ohio State to see it either.
Absolutely. We knew this was gonna be a short one because we were just covering this week. Thursday we're gonna go live instead of Friday since the Texas game is on Friday. We'll have our picks on Thursday as well. Other than that, once this season's over with, we'll ramp it back up with some college basketball and NBA. I know Bo is stacked ready with all his information because that's our basketball guy to no end. And then we'll continue it on from there to baseball, which will be another fun round of us going at it and arguing who's the best. And hey, SEC playing baseball is going to be absolutely fun.
A&M season number 1.
What a
And there's like 5 SEC teams ahead of them.
Yeah. Well, A&M's also ranked number 1 right now because they have one of the best prospects I've seen in a long time. He's a better prospect in my opinion than Cruz. I can't remember his name now. I'm like blanking. The big lefty.
I can't think of it either. I know who you're talking about.
He's one of the prospects I've seen in a long
about him
time.
over the summer on a bunch of our lives. I remember that. Yeah, so should be a fun one. But I think that's all we got for y'all tonight. Y'all got anything else for them, fellas?
Yeah. Let's say this. Go ahead,
Gunnar Helm touchdown anytime. And then the under in the Penn State game, the under in the Texas game, the over in the Penn State Notre Dame game.
All right, so we're
Oh,
Shoney's picks. All right, I like it.
Yeah. The picks of the week.
so all I got is this. I hate the Cowboys. I feel for my brothers that are, and I think the reason that they suck is Jerry Jones and that old decrepit dumbass idiot proved again why he's an old rich piece of shit. That is the reason the Dallas Cowboys are the fucking ass cheeks of the NFL and always will be until he's no longer at the helm. All he had to do was play Cooper Rush to give him $250K, and his dumbass did it. So he's an idiot. He's a piece of shit. Your team sucks. Your starting quarterback's eating soup out the can. That's all he's damn good at. And your backup quarterback's been in there all year, and you can't give him $250K and then go, I don't know what's going on. You know everything that's going on, old man. Or maybe not. Maybe you got dementia, like the old piece of shit you are. So, hey, I'm okay with it. I love when the Dallas Cowboys are just burning down, but I just wanted to get that out there that he once again proved why he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, Cowboys really burned. They even came and got Skip. Skip Bayless is hooked. The Cowboys are like just the Mike McCarthy thing, fucking his contract ends on the 14th. When Jerry Jones and Steven are just beating off in Arkansas somewhere. Shit about that. They'll figure that out like next week and have to pay Mike McCarthy like $10 million more because they fucked around for so long. Oh, dude, it's the worst. I'm dead because of them. Like there's nothing. Dude, I think Steven Jones is gonna be worse than Jerry.
Dude, I mean, why would you think any
The
different?
Sun is always fucking worse.
Here's the
Like-
deal with me. I'm a Saints fan, and it's as bad as it can get right now for us. And I'm still thankful I'm not a Cowboys fan. Like, I'm still thankful I was born into a family that didn't like the Cowboys. Because I couldn't imagine having a brand like that type of money, and just looking up at my old owner and going, like, you're the reason. Like, why do you think you're a celebrity? You're not. You own the football team. Like, be like every other owner and just shut the fuck up and pay other people to make
radio
decisions.
shows. Stop doing interviews. Stop landing your helicopter on the fucking practice field during practice.
That ass off. Like, I would land my helicopter on the practice.
That's why you should be an NFL owner. A good owner needs to shut up and go sit in just be like, here's the checkbook. You give me a Super Bowl contender. Not, I'm the best GM in the sport.
And then don't have a game where your own player is complaining about the sun being in his eyes and people complaining about it. You saying, oh, let's just tear the whole stadium down and not have that issue anymore. And then for the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, you put up blinds so the sun's not coming in and affecting that. How does that make sense?
Well, they did try to open the roof, and it literally fell apart and could have killed people on the field. They had scrap metal flying down from the rooftops at the field.
It's comical and
the tear down the stadium comment was such a like you're losing an argument to your wife.
Yeah, you don't know anything. Like I'll just burn it down.
Why don't we just sell the place?
Yeah. Also, but I'll shit on the Saints too. The Saints apparently got reported that they're going to show interest in Matt Nagy. So that's I'd rather Jim Nagy, who runs the Senior Bowl, than Matt Nagy. I'll tell you that right now.
That's where I'm at on like Mike McCarthy and just re-signing him because it's like fucking first and foremost, we're not headed to a soupy anytime soon anyhow. And I'm seeing all of these guys that are interviewing. I mean, fucking Rex Ryan's interviewing with the Jets again. The names that are coming out of the woodworks for interviews, the offensive coordinator for the Giants is getting like head coaching interviews.
Go get Gruber. Go get John Gruden.
Oh, I would love Gruden.
Jerry can't handle him. Jerry can't handle that kind of personality. He needs some fat vanilla idiot or some dude that looks like he works in accounting, like Jason Garrett. He needs one of those dorks that just shuts his mouth and does what Daddy Jerry says. And that's why the Cowboys will be ass cheeks until the Jones are no longer running.
That's why Parcells didn't work out, because Parcells wouldn't sit down and shut up. He was fucking voicing his opinion, and they're like, yeah, we're going to part ways after this. Like, what the It is what it is. We could harp on the Cowboys all day. Me and Shoney could cry and Buddha could kick us while we're on the ground just because that's how it would go. But look, hey, that's all we got for y'all. Today we'll see y'all Thursday and live. Anything else for them, fellas? All right, y'all have a good one. Hook 'em.
First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces.